Well, welcome to another Monday or Friday night hangout, depending on where you're at. And this is where you get all the news and information from the guys around the country. Let's see here. We want to get back to this. Unfortunately, Gary won't be in tonight. He has some other prior engagements, so I don't know how long it's going to take to get somebody in here. Let me pop this chat out so I can see that. Pop out chat. There we go. We'll move this over here. Come on. Put this, close this up. And move that there. And let's see what's been said here. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo. Close that up a little bit. Yeah, come on. All right. Working on these flaps for Steve. Got tissue on this one. I got to get that tissued. So I'll do these tonight while we're on the hangout. You're new to the chats. They're every Monday and Friday at 7 Central. I showed my last video on this particular project was showing how to revamp the flaps. Went to the dollar store, bought some women's fingernail files. I mean, yeah, I can make them out of a popsicle stick and sandpaper, but these are thinner. They're going to slide it into the hinge pocket, give it a little room for glue. These hinges were barely hanging on. Yeah, have any questions? Type them in the chat box. I'll answer them best I can. I probably know something. I don't know what it is, but we're 5 minutes in already. This thing really don't get rolling until about an hour. Well, come on, guys. I guess I could turn it down a little bit. You can see what I'm doing. Had a really strange thing happen today. I ordered some black pigment and it said my FedEx delivery was delivered. So I went downstairs to pick up my little box of 1/2 pint of pigment. And down there was a full roll of carbon fiber, 3K 2x2 twill. I thought, man, this would be nice to keep. But I called them and said, hey, you guys sent me the wrong box. So tomorrow, supposedly they've overnighted it to me. I get my stuff and they're going to send a shipping label and I'm going to send it back. It was nice stuff too, really nice stuff. And I got it all packed up in the shipping label or the invoice where they can read the address taped to it. I'll wait for the return label tomorrow and we'll ship it off. I called him up. The guy whose order it was something racing in Texas. I said, if you're looking for your box today, you can forget that. He said, what do you mean? I got it. Yep, I got it. You ain't getting it today. Almost tempted not to sand these to make them look like the rest of the airplane, but I just can't do it. Oh, Phil, where is? Hey, Phil, turn on your camera and unmute your mic. There's Carl Reed. Another one, you got to turn on your camera, unmute your mic.
There we go.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Oh, it's just you, Sparky.
Just me tonight, right now. We got,
Give it time. People will pop in.
oh yeah. Gary won't be in tonight. He's got some family obligations.
Oh, okay. What you working on?
Steve's flaps.
Ah,
I cut them off because they were twisted. Yeah, you could probably steam them, but when they're twisted and not warped, it's easier just to put a new set
yeah,
on.
yeah. It is. Yeah. It's like trying to straighten out a piece of copper pipe that's all bent up, and you're trying to put it together. You're just better off cut it out and get rid of it and go with a straight piece. I understand. How'd your week go?
Same as always. Not
Well,
much fun.
that's a good thing, right?
That's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I got to be careful how much I sand these things. I don't want them to look out of place.
Yeah. You mean by sanding them too thin?
No, I mean by sanding them too shiny.
Oh, I see. I see.
It'll look like a brand new car parked next to an Edsel or something.
Or putting chrome rims on a rust bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got my next video uploaded for the members.
Oh, good. And what's in this video?
Larry Scarinzi.
It's what?
It's a 2-hour video with an interview with Larry Scarinzi.
Oh, okay. You have to excuse me for asking this, but who is he?
He's you'll hear him talk about Larry Scarinzi and Red Reinhardt, and those guys were.
Top-notch pilots?
I wouldn't say that. I would say they were pioneers.
Oh, okay.
You ever see the Trident airplane? Got 3 tails on the back.
Yeah.
That's Larry Scarinzi.
Oh, okay.
Bob Hunt can tell you more about it
Yeah.
if he comes on. Bob Hunt is the official history book.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I'm really impressed with his memory, how he can remember all the stuff that he talks about.
Well, you asked me to remember something, that I heard yesterday. I can't tell you shit, but if you ask me something about a year, I can tell you what airplane I'm flying and who was there.
Yeah. Did you ever see that video about the man called the cops because his wife went missing?
No.
Well, he called the cops because his wife went missing or was gone for a long, long time. And so the cop comes to the door. The husband answers the door, And the cop starts asking a bunch of questions like, what does she, how tall is she? Oh, I think she's 6'3", 5'9", somewhere in there. Well, what was she wearing? Oh, something blue or pink with polka dots on it, I think. And I don't know if it was a skirt or pants. And what color was her hair? She goes, well, I don't know. She changed the color in her hair so often I can't keep track of it. And he couldn't really describe his wife really well. But then the cop goes, well, what kind of car? Do you know what kind of car she was driving? And he goes, yeah, it's a sky blues, got 18-inch chrome rims. It's an Audi 300 XXO, does a quarter mile in 30 seconds flat with a 5-speed automatic.
Yeah.
And so the pin of the joke of that is that he couldn't remember what his wife looked like, but he knew what car she drove.
I just found out an interesting fact, and I'm going to say it again
Yeah, that's all
I
right.
can remember. Do you know who did invented the television?
I did at one time, but I can't recall. I read an article on that some time ago.
Well, it was a 14-year-old boy from Michigan by the
Yeah.
name of Philo Farnsworth, and
Okay.
he had a patent on the television, and RCA stole it from him.
Okay.
So Philo Farnsworth,
Yeah.
14 years old, they said, how could somebody that young make something like that?
Yeah.
Roy says, hello, Sparky and everyone. How do you hang your airplanes on the wall? I use a little finishing nail and nail it into the stud, and then make a hook out of a coat hanger and put the tail wheel on it and hang it up.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, Philo Farnsworth. I always wondered who the hell made the TV. And then it made sense that RCA stole the patent, and they opened the first broadcasting studio in the Empire State Building, NBC, National Broadcasting.
Right.
And the only ones that could do something like that would be something like a big company like RCA.
Yeah.
Of course, they had another guy working on it. That's the whole deal. They had another guy working on the television at the same time, and he was almost there. And then Philo's patents ran out, and then anybody could use them. And they screwed that kid. Didn't get shit out of it. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Well, the same thing happened to Edison. I mean, he installed, invented the light bulb, and he wasn't much of a businessman from the articles that I've read. But Westinghouse came in and somehow made a patent and grabbed all the money from Edison's invention.
Now, Nikola Tesla is the one that really got hosed.
Yep.
That guy was brilliant. A Croatian from the 1800s. Unreal.
But you know what amazes me, Sparky, is these high tech machines. Like for an example, that machine that drilled the tunnel underneath the English Channel to make a subway, a roadway. I forgot what they call the thing.
The channel, yeah, it's a big round boring.
Yeah, right. And it bores, dispenses the dirt, and it installs the concrete all at the same time as it's going along the path.
Right.
Okay. Well, what amazes me is how does somebody come up and imagine something like that?
Necessity is the mother of invention.
and then go through and be able to design it and make it work. You know, that just blows me away.
Trial and error.
Yep.
Lots of error.
Yeah.
What's up, Jonathan?
G'day. How are you guys?
Hey, good. How about yourself?
Thought I'd better sign in.
You
Need
just
to
get
know
out
we're
of
still
bed?
there. How you going?
Got your robe on?
What's that?
Is that your robe you're wearing? You got your robe on?
Oh no, I've been outside. It's bloody cold here this morning, and well, it's just after lunch now, and I've been out running around with dogs and one thing and another, and round to see my mate Bryce. He was laminating a wing for a half A racer,
Uh-huh.
and he took unclamped it and took it out of the vacuum sort of clamp thing that he'd made, homemade job, and it's come out okay. It's come out all right. Yeah,
That's
but
good.
no, it's a bit cold here. You been doing any flying?
No, it's been rainy here. Rain today.
We've had a lot of rain here too. Our airfield that we normally fly at, it's called Green Road. The control line circle, we've got a problem there with drainage, and the local authority, the local territorial authority, the local council won't let us do any groundwork. They won't let us put a drain in. So I don't know what the hell we're going to do. But if we went up there now, we'd have trouble parking, and we'd have trouble getting in and out of the center of the circle. It's just crazy. So we're having to fly on another paddock at the moment. We did a little bit last week. I did a bit of flying last week. It was good fun. I had a lot of fun. But it's been raining a lot here. Hell of a lot of rain.
Yeah, they need to quit monkeying with the weather.
Well, I don't know what's going on. Something weird's happening, that's for sure.
It ain't global warming.
No. Well, it's freezing cold one day. You know, like the temperatures will get down to the lowest on record, and then a week later, it's the warmest day on record for that particular month. So, hey, you can't have global warming if it's going up and down.
Well, they're putting aluminum into the atmosphere to block the sun's rays.
Well, I don't know what the hell's going on down here, but the ice is increasing in the Antarctic and decreasing at the North Pole. So figure that one out, Sparky.
Well, the Earth is changing rotational axis.
Well, you might be right.
Well, they've already had a pole swap already. You know.
Well, that's happened several times over the Earth's history.
Right, not in my lifetime, but in the Earth's history.
Yeah.
So it might be swapping. I mean, true north, I think, is in Russia now or somewhere.
Oh, it's moving all the time. And apparently next year we're in for it's looking good for a lot of global disruption with sunspots.
Well, that's
So-
the thing. That's the
Well,
thing
you know-
that controls the environment, the sun.
Well, they claim that the way the Earth spins on its axis is going to slow down because of the big dam that China is building.
Yeah, right.
Somehow they claim it's supposed to affect the Earth's rotation. Now,
No.
whether or not there's any truth in that, I don't know, but that's just what an
Oh.
article was that I read.
Maybe
I ain't buying that.
if you drained all your Great Lakes, it might do something. But I don't think a dam's going to make much difference.
Whatever's see, this is I get a kick out of stuff like this. Whatever is here has always been here, and it ain't going nowhere.
Right.
It's just what happens. There's no stopping it.
No. Well, you know, all these scientists and these politicians all talk about global warming, and they're blaming it on us as the human race with our modern technology. And so my thought is, well, what happened to the Ice Age? There was no humans, there was no modern technology, there was no pollution, no cars, no motorized equipment, no chemicals being put in the atmosphere by man as we know it today, but yet the Ice Age melted.
Yeah.
So that's proof to me that global warming or warming has always been here since the earth was created or organized or existed, however you want to put it. Man has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It's just a natural occurrence that takes place in our solar system.
Well, you got to listen to George Carlin. He talks about, save the bees, save the whales, save the snails, and all that crap. If the earth wanted plastic, so it created man. So now it's the earth plus plastic, and plastic is forever. If the earth, Mother Nature didn't want us here, it would shake us up like a flea off a dog. Boom, and we'd be gone.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I watched an article on YouTube here 6 months ago about fossil fuel, about oil. That how we were led to believe that it came from the dinosaurs that died,
Impossible.
and they said no. And they proved that that oil existed way before the dinosaurs did, or dinosaurs existed way before. Anyway, it doesn't match up. It's just the way something is compressed for millions and billions of years, and it turns into oil.
It's always
Well,
replenishing itself. We're not going to run out of oil. We might run out of
No,
waste to get
no,
the oil, but it's always going to be there
no.
because it's
well,
deeper.
we're not on the program, you see. We can't think straight. People like us, we've been disinformationized.
Yeah.
We've been programmed. We're not supposed to talk like this.
Well,
You know how I can prove that dinosaurs didn't make oil? It's real simple. It's called the La Brea tar pits because the dinosaurs were stuck in the oil.
Exactly. And then the other thing you brought up about running out of oil, I'm going back many years ago, that there's oil baron or there's people who were very knowledgeable said that we have so much oil in Midland, Texas that we haven't even tapped into yet. It would last for another million years.
Yeah, the Permian Basin.
But because we can get it cheaper from other countries,
that ain't why. That ain't why.
Then why is it then?
It's a strategic advantage for war. We're burning up everybody else's fuel.
Oil, correct. That's part of it also, yeah. But well, I mean, I not saying you're correct. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, you wanna watch a good series. I think it's Netflix or I don't know but it's Landman.
Oh, okay.
It stars Billy Bob Thornton, and he talks about oil is in everything. It's in cell phones, glasses, roads, tires, everything. The clothes you're wearing, oil's in it.
Yep.
Right.
And everything except paper, everything is oil.
Your ink and your ink pens from oil.
Medicines.
Yeah.
Makeup, everything. So he talks about 150-year infrastructure on oil, and the only thing that's going to kill us is we're not going to be able to figure out how to get it. And he points at these windmills, and she talks about clean energy. He said it's not clean energy, it's alternative energy, because the amount of time that this windmill will be in existence won't offset the cost in carbohydrates that it took to make it. How many gallons of diesel it took.
Yeah.
So, and there's another thing. You talk about back in the dinosaur days or whatever. One volcanic eruption puts more hydrocarbons in the air than a year's worth of running all the cars on the planet. Just one volcano.
Yeah.
And how many explosions we get a month,
Right.
Yeah.
Al
Yeah, well,
Gore was wrong.
No, I
Yeah.
agree.
No, well, that's
But-
correct. What gets me though is we've got to do something about the pollution in the ocean. You know, a lot of the fish now that we're pulling out of the Pacific and that, when they go down to a cellular level, they're finding a lot of fabric and clothing and microfiber and plastics and shit inside the bloody fish at a cellular level because of all the crap we're dumping into the ocean.
Yep.
We've got to do something about that, Sparky.
I'll tell you what, in 1969, when we landed on the moon, my dad said, well, you can best bet there's a Budweiser can there now.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah.
Because everywhere we go, we leave trash, we pollute.
Well, the kids used to ask me, why haven't we gone back to the moon? And I said, well, we used to think it was made of green cheese, but when the Apollo project got up there, they were very disappointed. So we haven't been back.
Supposedly, China's been there. That's what I heard, but I don't believe that.
No.
Who has?
China.
China. Well, if they were, they'll find the bones around the back. Yeah.
And to
I
think,
don't think they would have been there and not told us.
we went to the moon on less calculating power than your watch.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
did it with a slide rule. You know, pretty smart guys.
Oh yeah.
Well, the women did it.
No
The
doubt.
women mathematicians. The women. Yeah, you had a team
Yeah,
of
they
women.
did. Yeah,
black
hidden
thing.
figures. Yeah.
A
They
black.
did all the
woman.
calculations.
Yeah.
Did it all with pen and paper on a bloody slide rule. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, they
Well, we're
even
going to talk about airplanes. We're going to talk about the moon.
well,
Oh.
spaceships is about airplanes, isn't it?
Well, this is Stunt Hangar and beyond.
And you use math to build airplanes, right?
Not really. I just go, yeah, that's right.
Old school.
Yeah. I was watching a thing on the Amish. Do you know the Amish don't use a tape measure? They don't use a
Good
ruler.
Lord.
They do their hands, their arms. They have a way of measuring thing that has kind of been universal to them, but they use their hands and their arms. And they pace off. They'll pace off 100 foot and they'll miss it by 2 inches and they'll make it square with no tape measure. Water level in a string.
Yep.
I bet they know what an ounce of gold looks like, though.
What's that?
I bet they know what an ounce of gold looks like, or a dollar note, though.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we used to go up to the San Gabriel Canyons and pan gold in the San Gabriel River. But at that time, gold was stuck at $29 an ounce.
32.
29 when I did it. We were kids. And we'd pan and pan and pan, and you'd get just a little bit of dust amount to $1. Well, shit, this ain't worth doing. Ain't worth doing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how long
they-
it stayed $29 an ounce, but it was what year? Let's see.
You know, talking about snails, Sparky, a minute ago. There's a gold company, gold extraction company in the South Island of New Zealand. We got a lot of gold down there. There's a hell of a lot more gold in New Zealand, like you guys up in Alaska and everywhere. There's more gold there than was ever taken out. And there was an outfit. They wanted to get a new license, and they were turned down by our Department of Conservation. And the reason was that they hadn't come up with a plan to relocate a native lizard.
Oh boy.
So, and the place, people rang in from all over the place, and there was an uproar. Apparently, these lizards are running all over the place. And so a day later, there was such an uproar that they reversed their decision, and the gold company's now got a license to operate.
You know how much gold is in the world? if you stacked it all together, if you melted it all down and made a big cube, it would fit inside a baseball diamond, 90 foot by 90 foot by 90 foot. That's
Yeah,
all
probably.
the gold in the world.
Yeah, yeah. Make a lot of gold leaf. What have you been up to, John Miller?
Feeding my face.
What year did gold stop being $29 an ounce? Gold standard.
It's about 330 something US at the moment.
71.
Good Lord.
It was up until 1971, it was $29 an ounce.
Good heavens.
Yeah, but how much was it when they first discovered it back in the 1800s and started mining gold, prospecting?
I'll tell you, see, it's all relative. A $20 gold piece would buy a pistol and some bullets.
Right.
That $20 gold piece will still buy the same pistol and some bullets. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's all the same. Even
You
though
can measure it in ham. You can measure
But
it
a
in
$20
hamburgers.
bill won't.
right, $20 bill won't, but a $20 gold
The
coin.
gold piece, yeah.
Yeah.
Our currency used to say gold certificate or silver certificate. I got a few silver certificates left, and you present that. Like I got a couple $5 silver certificates. They give you $5 worth of silver at the bank. But now it ain't worth nothing.
Well, we were all backed with gold and silver once. And you used to be able to, or so the saying went, you could go to the bank and give them your $5 note and get $5, recompense in gold. But, you can't do that now.
Now that I think about it, 71, isn't that about the time Nixon took us off the gold standard and put us on the petrodollar?
Yeah, that's right. Took us on to fiat, or whatever they call it.
Fiat.
No gold backing. Now China and India and Russia have all the gold.
Well,
Hey, Sparky, ask the computer when gold was $32 an ounce.
32.
I seem to remember it when I was a
when
kid.
was gold $32 an ounce?
I might have peaked at that, but it goes up and down depending on what happens.
Well, we still have gold in Fort Knox, right?
They think so.
Yeah, right. Nobody's seen it in a gazillion years.
How old are you, John? That might have been during the Boer War.
Yeah.
I think I'm a year too older than you are.
Well, why does this chart say that gold was $32 an ounce is when? That's 1933.
Yeah, I would have got
they
it
set
during
the
the
gold
war.
price at when we went off the gold. That's what they set the gold price at when we went off the gold standard.
Let's see. 1969.
And then, of course, they confiscated gold or stopped. What did they do? They stopped. You weren't allowed to trade gold during the war.
Maybe it wasn't $29 an ounce because it says here in 70, that was about when we were panning for gold, maybe 69, that it was $39 an ounce. Maybe I got that wrong. Yeah, $39.31 an ounce.
It can go up in 6 months and back down again. It can double its price and then drop back down again over 6 months.
Oh, this chart ain't right because in 2004 it says it's $409. That ain't right.
Yeah. Interesting enough, silver right now is at almost $40 an ounce. It's $38, $39, somewhere in there. That's about as high as it was when they had the big silver rush there, when those guys in Texas tried to curb the market, or on silver.
During the Sandinista war, silver went from $5 to $52 an ounce. If you'd have had $100 invested, you'd be rich. I mean, have a lot of money. Oh, let me tell Ed I don't know that Dan got a hold of you or whatever, but we're not going to be able to make it.
Yeah, he gave me a heads up
Okay.
and that. Well, I appreciate you trying. I understand. And that. And also, I was busy working, and I turned this on and got to hear you talking about Katherine Johnson, Hidden Figures, that did all the rough calculations. West
A
Virginia
black
girl.
mathematician.
Was that?
Well, she was a black lady,
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
From Southern West Virginia. She passed away, I think, in 2021 or
Yeah.
22. And that. Yep.
Yeah, but
So-
what's more amazing about that is that she was able to do that higher math like when she was in the 4th and 5th grade, and that's what her parents and her teachers pushed her into the university to learn more.
Believe it or not, back in '69, it was pretty segregated. It's still,
Yeah.
especially in the South. I mean,
Hey,
and
well, to answer the question about the gold standard, it went off as being a standard in April 20th, 1933.
no. Nixon took us off the gold standard.
No,
No,
it says
Roosevelt
here
did.
on April 20th, the United States went off the gold standard, a monetary system. Congress enacted a joint resolution nullifying the right of creditors to demand payment in gold.
Nixon took us off the silver standard.
Yes.
Huh.
I thought it was later than that. I thought we went
anyway.
over to what they call fiat at about in the 1970s.
Fiat is a piece of paper that's not backed by anything but the faith and credit of the work that we can do,
Mm-hmm.
which means you can get it done cheaper in China. Oh, speaking of that, I was talking about the landman. When he was talking about the windmills, he said, we're an oil company. I can't remember what, Mid-Tex Oil. And if Exxon thought that those windmills would make them money,
Oh,
they'd be everywhere. So it's not a valid way to make money.
Yeah, the Landman. You're talking about that Netflix series with Billy Bob Thornton, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot to that if you pay attention. Yeah, if you think that them things will make us money, you'd be mistaken.
Well, the power that comes out of them is about twice the price or 3 times the price you can make it with burning coal.
Well,
But of
as a
course-
kid, I always heard that there was a guy who had a carburetor that would get 100 miles to the gallon, and he disappeared. My dad told me about this. He disappeared.
Was
So
that the same guy that invented the carburetor run on water?
Well, that's still going on, because you can find that on YouTube.
Yeah, but there was an inventor that did that back in the 1930s, and the same thing. He disappeared. It didn't ever went into production. But
I better start running.
yeah, really.
You can run, but you can't hide.
There's a guy on YouTube who has a 56 Chevy powered by hydrogen. He got a big hydrogen tank in the back.
Yeah.
It's got an LS motor in it.
Yeah.
Truck.
Now there's another YouTube where a guy goes to these restaurants and collects the grease out of the grease traps.
Right.
And somehow he turns that into fuel to run his engines, his motors.
Turns it into diesel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a technician that did that. His fuel filter kept getting clogged. We told him, hey Andrew, you gotta watch that filter, man. You gotta get those chicken wing bones and all that stuff out of there.
Well,
Yeah, every once in a while he wouldn't make it to work because his car quit on him. But you drive behind it and smell French fries.
Yeah.
Well, I still reckon the cheapest form of energy, if we could harness it, is to put a great big gas bag over over our parliamentarians, over our parliament, and capture all the hot air and gas, and That'd
Yeah.
produce a bit of horsepower, wouldn't it?
Back in the Midwest, I used to sell farm implements. And I used to go to some of these farms, especially the pig farms. The guys really knew what they're doing. They collected the methane gas from the manure pits, from
Right.
their from their pits, and they ran all their tractors, all their equipment on that methane.
Yep.
Keith Russell's in. How's it going, Keith?
Oh, pretty good.
Oh, g'day, Keith. God, haven't seen you for years.
Well, was working to get ready to go to Muncie and got the airplane done and went there, and now I'm back.
Hey, looking good.
Yeah.
Tired.
How'd you do in scale?
I flew on scale and got third place there and screwed up a lot because I still don't know what I'm doing very much in that. And then at base scale, I got first place in that with a new airplane.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well done.
There's not much competition there.
Well, yeah. I know what you mean, though, about feeling tired. The older I get, I seem to spend more time thinking about things than I actually do doing them.
I flew old time and classic had a bit of a problem. On the second flight, I needed somebody to launch for me, and I asked Bob Hunt, and he said his back was bothering him, so he had a friend there who's an RC guy. And I guess he's quite a pretty good RC pilot. He's on the US team last year and was third in the world, so, in something or other. So he launched for me, and I told him I have kind of a sequence to go through to get started and all that, and went through all that, and he launched it fine. Finished the pattern. I guess I had an overrun. But anyway, it came in on the landing on this grass field, and I made one of the nicest landings I've made for a long time. And I was running out the landing run and going across the grass pretty quick, and all of a sudden it went whack.
Oh,
And I
shit.
looked to see what was going on, and I ran into my battery
Oh, man.
that he had left. I have a little box that keep my battery and finger guard and
Oh gosh.
stuff in. So he didn't know that you're supposed to take that off the field.
Oh,
He apologized for it, and well, there's nothing more you can do, you know, it happens. So I was a little upset, but couldn't say anything. There wasn't anything that could be said.
No.
And what it did, it took a couple pieces. It had head on the nose and took a couple pieces off the cow. And then I think the box put a little hole in the bottom of the wing near the center section leading edge. It'll be easy to fix, but still shouldn't have
Could have
happened.
been worse. Could have been worse.
Yeah, I think the wing is not compromised in structure at all. It's a molded leading edge, and I think I can go in and put a piece of wood inside and then put a sort of a cap on top of it. Probably paint a big red spot on it, so I'm not going to try to disguise it. And the cow, I think I can piece together. There's some crushed wood there, but I think I can piece it together where you won't be able to tell much difference. The damage was right next to where the cutout is for the muffler, so it's going to be okay.
The airplane dope.
It's dope finish, but has urethane
Oh,
on
yeah.
top of that.
That's one of the
Anyway,
things that keeps me from doing that.
and hadn't been practicing very much and got a second place in old time behind Joe Gilbert, of course. But anyway, overall had a good week.
Oh, those videos you took, Sparky, they were good. I felt like I was really there. A couple of times you were walking around with the camera, and
I didn't do much
you almost
videoing.
smelled the grass. It was good to
didn't-
see you guys there.
I didn't do much videoing because I was judging. I did a
No,
couple
but
of,
I saw enough, and I saw guys like Keith Trossel there, and people, and I just felt like when you were walking along with the camera, I just felt like I was walking beside you. It was really good. Appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah.
They
Good
had-
memories.
They had the scale selection team for the World Championships next year. And it's pretty much the same people on the team that were there last year, and they were pretty successful, and they did good, and they figured out what it takes to win. That's good.
So Peter Bauer and Ed Mason and who else?
Peter Bauer's wife
Really?
and Pete, the carrier flyer. His backup. So we'll see how that goes.
Are you building anything, Keith? Have you got anything else in mind?
No, I've got to clean up the shop from the mess that was made in getting this one airplane finished. I spent an inordinate amount of time to get a little half-A airplane finished.
Mhm.
And
Right.
anyway, the shop is kind of a mess, and have a table in the recreation room, and it was covered with junk and papers and so forth. Finally got that cleared off. Got the airplane cleaned up today, and engines oiled so I can put the thing on the wall and not have to worry about it for a year.
Did anybody
See,
answer why every bench I have in my shop is full of shit? It's all crapped up.
Well, that's my problem. I have two benches and a desk in the workshop and a couple file cabinets, and they're all filled with junk.
Right? How can that happen? There's one that's full, here's one that's full, there's one that's full, over there's one that's full, and well, I got 5 benches. Now that I 5 benches and they're all full of crap.
But you can find what you're looking for, right?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah, it's
know.
right in front of you. Right in front of you.
Yeah. The minute that I clean this place up, I will not be able to find anything.
Correct.
Hey, Brendan.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how you doing, Brendan?
Hey,
All
Hey.
right. We're working on dremeling some handles, so we got better finger grips on them. We learned kind of the hard way last week at Nats that his SV11 was flying a little funny, and part of it was that we just don't think his hand was always in the same place on the handle. So we've been putting little grooves in there for the fingers to be able to fit in.
can you show us what you're up to?
I don't know. Which one do you want to show?
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Is that the standard? Is that a Brodak one, or is that one you've sort of modified yourself? Or
Don't know where we got that one from. Yeah, just in a box of handles that I think somebody had at Brodax this year. But yeah,
That's a Rayco handle.
Okay. But yeah, we're dremeling grooves in it so that our fingers go in the same place every time, and we don't have goofiness.
We got 2 Rayco handles there. That's made by a guy in Ohio.
All right.
He makes them for Brodak.
Yeah. Well, we were active at Nats last week. My wife flew beginner. She was the only adult beginner, so I won it last year, the big trophy for beginner, and she brought it home this year.
Oh well, good.
Nice.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
so it was fun. She was very nervous going into the week. Actually, we trained the whole week in advance. So she's flown in the past a little bit, but it's been probably, I don't know, probably a full year since she's had her hand on a handle. But leading up to NADS, Angstrom was really encouraging her to put up some flights. So she got an AMA number really truly last second, and we trained through the week. And I think she had one really good day of flight where she was finally getting things level, and then we traded out the lines. We used Spectra lines, so we traded out the lines because it had a little knot in it that we didn't like. So we traded out the lines. So that next day of flights, she was all over the place, could not get the plane level. It looked really bad, and we just were like, what is the problem here? And what it ended up being, we think, is she took those new lines and she went and really just pulled on them for a while, the Spectras. Now, we'd pulled them before, but they'd been sitting on a shelf for a long time. But she put about 10, 15 minutes worth of just stress on them. And then that next day came out with the same lines, and it finally held level. So we learned that, when you're dealing with new Spectra lines and stuff, even if you pulled them a little bit, maybe you need to give them another go. So, but she figured it out. She held her own out there, did pretty well. We were proud of her. And actually, you want to grab the plane over there?
Yeah.
I'll show you the plane she flew.
So that means she's gonna be better than you, Brennan?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I told her already, she can't fly beginner anymore. She's already won beginner at NATS, so it's intermediate now.
She won basic.
Yeah, well. But here it is. I don't know how well people can see it. It's a rugged stunt trainer.
Yeah.
And this actually has a lot of history because this was one of the rugged stunt trainers that Angstrom used in his first NATS. And we put a bunch of messages on it. You can kind of see some of the writing. We took a dry erase marker. She was so nervous that we just took her plane to the side and just wrote all sorts of words of encouragement all over it.
Cool.
And then she put up her basic flight. Technically, I guess it was beginner, but she did the basic pattern. And so it was just good fun to start the week.
So is she gonna compete in beginner next year, or is she gonna move up to the next level?
We'll see if she can. She wants to learn it. She was actually saying right before going to NATS, like she was hardly getting a loop in it. She's like, I want to go inverted. And we're like, whoa, hold on there, cowboy. But she's interested. She's itching. She'd love to fly. But if people haven't seen it or heard some of it on Stunt Hangar, we're going to toss our hat in, and hopefully Angstrom being the junior member for the U.S. national team. And that's going to take a lot of energy from us. We're trying to secure the right planes and the right electronics, and it's been a whirlwind this last week, coming back from NATS and then committing to the world team. What it feels like we've committed to right now is we're meeting Dennis Adamson tomorrow in Columbus, halfway between our places. And we're picking up a Spree, a plane that is a take-apart plane that he flew about 5 years ago in NATS. So we're going to have that as one of our two planes to look at for NATS. And then I think we're doing a rush job on a Sherratt plane. What are you choosing?
Raptor, I think. Yeah.
Raptor. Yeah, we're looking at a Raptor. We're going to get that sent over. Sherratt made it sound like maybe it'd be about 2 months, so we're hoping to get some handle time on it before it gets full winter up here in Pennsylvania. But we also, I won't name drop in case something doesn't work out, but we also got a person that while we're waiting on that Sherratt plane, that Raptor, we got someone that may be willing to send us their Sherratt plane in the meantime to just get handle time and learn kind of how the plane flies. And then I think we'll be meeting up with that person at the Golden State Championships for the team trials. We'll meet up with them, give them their plane back. But by that time, we should have the other Sherratt plane, the Raptor, in our hands. So we're doing a lot of moving and shaking and talking with people, just trying to figure out how to get this thing done, to get a decent flying plane in his hands, get some handle time, and get us prepped for the Worlds. Hopefully that he's the U.S. representative.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Well done.
Well, Mark Weiss, what words of wisdom do you have for us tonight?
It's always good to be here and see some friends, and particularly one that I really wanted to spend more time with at the Nets and didn't, and that's Keith. Good to see you on here, Keith.
Mm.
Yeah, we had a meeting last night, a Zoom meeting, and this came from my experience in Southeast Asia about 50 something years ago. And as a company commander, I had to meet every night, literally every night, with my battalion commander uh, and talk about what the day brought us. And he used to call that lessons learned. I don't know if that was his term or someone else's, but it was really important, especially over there, to talk about how the day went. And we did it every day, 7 days a week. I can't tell you we're always looking forward to it, and I'm sure he wasn't either. But at times it was a life and death situation, but I always used that. So last night was my first review meeting of the 25 Nats. And I sent invitations to about 6 people who were in leadership positions and said, look, while it's fresh in our mind, I want to go over a whole bunch of things about the Nats, things that you think and I think went well, things that maybe we can even do better. And what were the low points? Where are the real opportunities here to improve the event? I was hoping we could keep it to an hour. And in about an hour 45, we signed off. And it was a whole bunch of topics. And really, we're going to do this every 3 weeks. With the idea being that as winter approaches, if it takes that long, we're going to really have a great schedule of events and series of events for the Nats next year. And this year wasn't a dog year at all. I thought everyone did a remarkable job, especially considering several key players had illnesses just at that time. And obviously they had to take care of that. So the major issues were, and I think Monday we killed one of them here. We talked about it enough, but everyone agreed, and that is for classic old time stunt and 30, we're going to guarantee that everyone who comes gets 2 flights and they will not be rushed. Right now it's 1 flight, top 10, because of appearance judging and the pilots meeting at the 180 building. But that's really not the problem for people that shouldn't be a concern of theirs. We talked about a whole bunch of things, and I felt really good about it. And I'll just share this with you because someone said, well, I wanted to tell them what my goal is for as long as I'm in this job. And Pampa was established for precision aerobatics. It was established for the Nats. It was established for the protection and preservation of stunt flying. And I want everyone who comes to the Nets to be able to say they were treated really, really well. I want people to feel good about the time and expense they put out to attend the Nats. So everything we're doing is really for that experience of our client, and our client are first the competitors, and I guess right behind them, their families, whoever they bring with them. I think if we do that, I think that's a big statement and something that'll help us grow. Second thing, another thing that we talked about that I don't know why it didn't dawn on me earlier, and that is we're doing a lot of good things at the top level. I question what we're doing at the local level. And what I want to do is construct the equivalent of a kit that we could send out to every contest director, everyone interested in running a contest with our best practices. what do we do with the Nats that works? What can they do at their local contests with 10 people? How do they get judges who are consistent? And how do they get the public to show up? That's something we haven't figured out with the Nats yet. It's really not Pampa's a requirement or job, but I think it's AMA's. You want to grow and keep people happy, let them see what we're doing, not just us, but combat anyone competing. So we came up with maybe 10 or 12 areas, and I'll bounce them off you every once in a while because your input's important. I told several people last night that there's been a lot of talk about what I'm going to do. And I kind of made that decision driving home from the Nats that I'm going to stick around for a while longer as Pampa president, provided no one else runs and beats me. If they do, they do, and then the job is theirs. But there are just too many things that I want to finish. When I walk away, I want to walk away feeling I left something behind, myself and the board and the Pampa members and everyone who contributes. So for some, that's good news. For some, may not be good news, but I can't worry about that. But I think this idea of lessons learned, if you don't mind that expression, is just the best way to evaluate what you're doing and look for better ways to do what we're doing for the experience of the competitor. And any feedback you have for me, I take a lot of notes during these meetings because I can't rely on my memory as good as I'd like to. It's not bad, but it's old memory. I think my memory's on 88 column punch cards or something. So that's what that meeting is about. Just remind you, it's going to be about every 3 weeks. So about every 3 weeks, you can probably expect to hear from a report from me about how it went. And again, this was the introductory. I'll give you an idea, another topic. Okay, we're gonna do something with the schedule to make sure that those 3 events have the time they deserve. Then a question came up, maybe they should be official events, which is very good for Pampa, but not if it keeps people away because of the increased cost of entering an official event. So that's the kind of topic that could go on for months. So we're going to test some things. We're going to run some numbers. We're going to talk to people. Right now, people who fly the unofficial events who don't also enter advanced and open and junior, senior and open, they don't count. They don't count in the numbers of people who come to the Nats as far as AMA is concerned. And that's not fair to us. So, we're looking at a lot of things, and there'll be some committee work to come out of this. But I'll keep you informed. And if Sparky's good enough to keep this thing open, then, I'll do my best to be on here, at least once a week. So I can hear you and, learn from what you guys think. But look,
I need you to send me an email of what you want in that section.
Yes, I do. I saw you called me. I didn't see a message, so I'm going to send you an email with my thoughts, and then we'll go from there. And what Sparky's talking about is that we had 2 meetings at the Nats. One of them was with the general membership, Pampa, and the other was with the Pampa Executive Committee, which is basically the 11 district directors, myself, the vice president, and secretary treasurer. And one of the things we voted to, yes, let's utilize Stunt Hangar more than we are and get more of a permanent presence on there. In other words, not hope that someone from Pampa posts something. And Sparky and I have been down this road before, and he came back with something good, and we kind of let it dangle. So that's what he and I are doing. So thank you, Sparky, and I'll get that out to you.
Okay, just what sections? I got the president's message in there, and I got right now, Pampa's loaded with the president's message, but there's no districts. and there's no treasure. What you got to tell me what you want in there.
Okay. Okay, I will. I will. Anything that makes the president look good is important.
Yeah, well, you got to write the first post.
So that might take, some pretty women or something. I don't know. But I will get you that, buddy. I will get you that. So anyone who's there or was not there, who's been to a Nats, if you have any thoughts about what you think may need improvement or what you think should be started, I'm open. I'm open. It's a volunteer position, but not many days go by that I'm not working on Pampa. And that's okay with me. I don't expect that from other people. I have the time and I have the interest. So that's where I am. And it's good to see you guys on here. Brendan, I got a nice note from your wife with a very interesting idea on how to grow maybe some of the junior and senior positions for people, who really want to participate in world events. There's some costs involved. I mean, this year, serious costs. Well, next year, just because of where it is. It's in Australia. And then with airplane regulations, how do you get airplanes? How do you get fuel? How do you get batteries overseas? And that's why you see guys like Dave Fitzgerald. You'll see guys like Paul Walker. These guys are 3 days away, but they drive because they want to make sure everything that they need, they can transport. And probably the biggest item is how do you transport the airplanes? And for those of you with experience, the answer is a take apart. You basically can't, flying stunt, you can't bring something small enough to be competitive. You're going to have to bring something that's the real deal, and it has to come apart. So I'm going to do my best to cover what Tony wrote and then get it to the right people at AMA. And I like that. I like when people reach out and say, hey, can we do this? Because some of the times I'm not aware of the issue at all.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, the idea that we threw out there was the idea. Again, we're scrambling to find a plane, and it really doesn't just come down to us. We're thinking about people, the juniors ahead of us, beyond. But in talking with Steve Hines, Samantha's dad, it sounded like it was a mad scramble for them to locate a plane, get the right plane, get it figured out. And then my understanding, she had like a week of handle time on it before putting it up for, the world flights. Mm-hmm. And so, the suggestion is like, can we find kind of a standard plane that's ready to go, that when you select a junior member is like, okay, this is one you can train on, that's, pretty much ready to go if you need something. Yeah. And so again, we're scrambling, but I know Samantha had a heck of a time, and that's just, I feel really bad hearing her story and their story that, yep, they showed up and they only got a week worth of handle time before throwing up a plane, and they just couldn't put their best foot forward because there was the scramble to figure out how do you get a plane that flies right and can be packed in a suitcase and get over to France in their case. So
yeah, I can tell you this, and it's not just true for model airplanes, because I've done this myself and really regretted it. And that is building a plane for an event date. I think it's a bad way to go. I think what you do is you build the best plane you can, you work on it, you trim it, and then you see when the next big event is coming. Because right now, we're behind the curve a little bit because of things that have happened within the selection committee, but I think we got that all straight now in the team trials committee. We got the place, we got the people. It's at a very good facility. So we'll get that part right. I think I sent back to Tony. I have a feeling AMA will throw that back to me because they don't really know what we know. They don't know, what control line world aerobatic championships are all about. Not like we do. And that'll be an issue of is that something that Pampa should spend money on and all this and all that. And so the good thing is she started it and I'm going to keep it going. So we'll have an answer. But it was nice of her to go to that trouble. All of you. So I don't want to dominate this meeting. Let someone else who has far superior brain power chime in.
Well, that lets me out.
Well, that lets Hoffman out, yeah. Hey, Jimbo.
Hi, hi. You thought I wasn't listening.
No, I knew you were listening. I knew you were listening.
So I did overhear you say something about like best practices for running a contest.
Mhm.
I've got a lot of experience running local contests.
I know you do.
I could help you with that. Not the nationals, but the local.
I would love that.
Okay.
I'll go offline with you, Jim, and I just want to make available. You can't force things on people, but I think without contests, we're speeding up the demise of control line stunt. I think that's where people grow, where they see good ideas, where they exchange ideas, and I think contests are really important.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So
I'm
thank you.
saddened that there's so few of them anymore.
Yep.
But I can make a comment. I was there all week watching some of the other control line stuff. And compared to all the other events, control line stunt is alive and well. Speed, they had 3 or 4 days to fly down there. There probably weren't more than 6 or 8 cars there at the speed circles all week long. Racing was almost the same way. When they did a race, there might be 2 people to have a race. And sometimes the event director was calling out when to start, and he was flying as a competitor. That's the state of affair of racing. And carrier was fairly well attended, I guess. And scale is okay. It had like 24, 25 entries, maybe 10, 12 people altogether flying. But you go over there at the stunt circle and during the stunt events, why, well, the grass circle was full and the L-pad, there were cars parked there and parking lot showed a lot of cars and a lot of people there. So stunt compared to other control line events is alive and well. Maybe not as well as we'd like it to be, but it still draws interest and people come.
Is combat about the same as stunt?
Yeah, combat was active. They had a lot of cars and there was activity going there all week long. You could hear the engines going all the time. So I don't know what all the events were and who was in it or how they did. But there was a lot of activity there all week long.
Mark, did I hear you say you were calling for me?
Who is
Somebody,
that?
somebody to take over for your talking?
Go right ahead, Mr. Dennis. I hear nice things about you.
Must not be me.
Like people stop on their way to the Nats to pick up landing gear from you. This guy
Yeah.
from Colorado did that.
That's it. I got wheels. So
You're a good man.
I don't know about that. I did hear what you were talking about, expanding the Nationals experience, and of course, we need to look for opportunities wherever we can find them. And had a nice little chat with Bob Hunt earlier today, and he kind of filled me in on your conversation. So I'm excited what we could do. So
Yeah, that is very exciting.
yeah, there are a few other quirks as I understand it, and it was presented that there's already a proposal on hand that they're going to be a proposal to the AMA to combine the junior and senior age groups as a competition category, or, as basically do away with one or the other. And that's going to, I don't know if that's I don't even know how general rules like that occur. I don't think, Keith, that's not a control line contest board kind of thing, is it? How
No.
do general rules get enacted?
There's somebody that coordinates all the contest boards.
Hmm.
And when something like that comes up, I think they contact the chairman of the various contest boards and act
Okay.
on something
Okay.
to change the general rules or something like that. And then for control line general, there's a guy that coordinates all the contest boards when
Mhm.
something comes up, and they contact then the various chairmen to see if anything needs to be done to change anything in the control line general.
Mhm.
One thing several years ago, I was asked by, who was it? He was a contest board coordinator, and he helped run the mats.
Was it Colleen Pierce?
No, the guy.
Okay.
Oh boy, I'm really bad with names anymore. But he asked me to kind of look at all the rules because there's discrepancies in how they define lines and what line sizes are and on and on and on. So I went through each rule book for each of the events and outlined where they didn't very well define whatever was needed to be defined and to get some similarity in how the rules read between all the events and so forth. And it was many pages of work that went to him. And he was going to work with this overall control line coordinator, but nothing ever happened.
Yeah. Maybe that was Tony Stillman.
It was Tony Stillman.
There you go. Okay.
And
So that would have been the technical director. Was
yeah,
that was his office then? Okay.
yeah.
So, and I don't think Tony's in that role anymore, but
No,
I think somebody else
I
is.
think he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah.
And the new guy, his name is, I've got here, John Zankel, Zankl.
Yes.
He goes by JC or JZ.
Yes.
And I just only talked to him. I wanted to meet him at the Nats this year, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Talked to him a couple of times, but anyway.
Yeah. Dennis, going back to you for a second. What you just mentioned about the two categories being put together, that's the first time I've ever heard that. That doesn't mean that it's not true, but I always get nervous when people are saying they're going to AMA regarding something on Pampa.
Well, there was a thread on Stunt Hangar where the perp basically said that he submitted a proposal. All right.
I saw that too.
And
okay.
So Keith, I'll put words in your mouth here. You have not seen anything officially that you're going to be acting on something like that. I would presume it's in like with the regular rule cycle stuff.
Well, it's nothing like that's in the rules cycle that I'm aware of.
Okay. And you would be ground zero, I guess, for that. That's what I'm getting to, is if there was something there by now, you probably would have seen something on it. So.
Yeah, well, it's kind of too late now anyway.
Well, right, unless it's already there somehow. So,
yeah, but nothing came up for us to consider on the initial vote, which was completed, what, a month or so ago. And I think we have one proposal we have to act on. And I forget what that is, but I don't think it's going to pass or should pass. But anyway,
I'm not crazy about it either. But anyhow,
if we could chime in real quick because we got a senior here. I will say this, we've got into carrier flying, Navy carrier flying, just the last couple of years. And actually a big reason we got into it last year was we flew at Brodax in an event. And then Paul Smith got in our ear and he said, hey, you know what? There's 4 junior carrier records that have never been set. There's no marks. And so we scrambled like the Dickens to get some carrier planes together and go set some marks. And then after last year was set, it's like, okay, now let's try them for senior. So I know it's just a small blip in the world. And no, we're not looking to just set any old record type of stuff here, but it motivated us to get involved and to try new things and do different stuff. And it, I know it's not necessarily quite the same in Pampa and Stunt because, the marks are, as high as they are, but I will say this, I do like that there is the distinction between the junior and the senior, because I think it just was a little bit more of a motivator and kind of some of the stuff we were doing to have that distinction, not just in the carrier world too, but I think also in the stunt world as well. But that's just a small blip. And I know that there's just not a big contingency of youth that are a part of it. So some people may say, well, let's just throw them all together, but there's a history there. So if they did get rid of it and combine it, I mean, would they just combine all the national records that are out there across all the stuff and say, well, no, we can't have 2 sets. So I don't know, that there's just other repercussions here that I just kind of wonder about.
Yeah, I would expect that they would combine them, probably take the existing one, high one stands or something like that. But I think this is still true. It was true when I was the ED at the Nationals here, last time in 17, I guess it was. I did participate in some of the Nats planning meetings with that review, pre-scheduling and stuff. At that time, CLPA was the only event at the Nationals that flew separate age groups. We were the only event that did that. There are quite a few other events that they'll have a high point junior, a high point senior, or something like that. I really not crazy about that, but I'm doing that. But I'm looking at it only from my own personal history, because I flew in the Nationals as a junior, and I flew as a senior, and now on open and everything like that, and it would have been somehow. I don't know that it would have carried as much excitement or as much weight, if you will, if it was just a high point, age group or something like that. And of course, if they combine junior and senior, we would be compelled to have one young competitor as the high point, whatever the combined class is. Say it's called senior, it'll be a high point senior and a high point open. Although they probably call it junior and senior, because I think they've actually taken the open class and call it, is it called senior, or it's called adult now or something like that? I don't know, it's crazy stuff. But at any rate, I'm not crazy, and I don't really know how it's pertinent to the overall discussion points that you were making, Mark, except every time we get something like that, I guess we got to see if we can turn an opportunity somewhere. So.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those topics that, I like to think through, but off the top, right now, I would be against it. The reason being, if I'm a kid whose parents are taking me to a national event, and I'm 7, 8 years old, and I'm looking at someone who's 2.5 feet my size, flying in my category, I might feel like someone who's trying to get into the top 5 and open at the Nats. That is one tough thing to get through. So I like the idea of having different events and letting people feel the possibility of them walking away with something.
Yeah, I agree with that. And if you're worried about tall people, just wait till Angstrom becomes an open. All right. And
problem solved.
And Mark, you're not going to feel like a big guy anymore. I'll just say that. So you'll always be a giant in my eyes, I can tell you. So
just the devil's advocate here for a moment.
one of the problems I think is driving it. Now, I'm not for this thing,
Yeah.
but one of the things that might be driving it is the fact that we have so few juniors and seniors.
hmm
When you have
And
one junior show up and fly, you know,
and this isn't a CLPA proposal it's basically an AMA level proposal.
yeah,
And well, it would have to be if it was enacted, it would have to be an AMA level commitment.
it makes a
So,
difference too.
yeah. So I'm not sure that I don't even know if that falls into a competition category even. It would be a fundamental membership category.
Yeah.
You
So,
know, I don't know either. I
yeah.
don't know. Right now, we're kind of looking at what do we have and how do we make it better? And included in that, there were comments such as, isn't it time to make intermediate an official event? It's something I really hadn't thought about.
hmm
But with all that discussion, I have a note to myself to try to meet with AMA to understand why an official entry is so much more expensive. Because I don't want that to put off the pilot.
I think in part it's because CLPA, we try to self-fund our judges and everything like that. So the entry fee for CLPA, in addition to the regular NATS entry, we have a premium on CLPA entries that helps fund our stipends to the judges and things like that.
Well, I understand.
So if you want to be real, crazy about it and all that, if the intermediate flyers were contributing to that also, then it makes the stipend a little bigger, but we'd have a lot fewer intermediate flyers actually show up too. So, but yeah, intermediate stunt is an AMA level, rulebook event, a rulebook class.
hmm
So there's no compelling reason why it couldn't be an official event
And
because
again,
of that. Yeah.
where I'm sitting, I'm trying to come up with reasons why more people should come,
hmm
you know. And I think the hardest group to get to a Nats are the youngest.
hmm
They have a lot of other things going on in their lives. They don't drive cars. They don't have bank accounts. They're dependent on their parents or their
hmm
guardians, whoever it is. Um, One of the good things that came out of the board meeting for everyone was Tim just made some great remarks regarding we need external funding sources.
hmm
Said, I'm going to look into that, to help pay for whatever we do.
hmm
Because right now, all we basically look at is membership dues, which are very low.
hmm
They really are. So anyway, it's good to have these think tanks and kick around ideas, and maybe we can get 2 or 3 that are solid into next year.
hmm
Um, but I'm not going with this is the way it's always done. That's why we have to keep doing it. I think that's a little bit dangerous.
I agree.
The times have changed.
Hey, one other thing I'll kind of throw in from our experience is that at Brodax, the basic flight, the kids flying is held on, what is it, Friday night. That's right in the middle of after the first rounds of precision aerobatics, and then there'll be the second round the next day. So the kids are kind of front and center right there at the middle. And we that's where we put the senior stunt challenge as well this year. And so that's when the most people are there and a part of this. And so my experience is when we've done the beginner event, intermediate event, being on that first Sunday, the group of the most of the flyers for the week are not there. So there is not a crowd. There is not a general interest, for the most part, in my mind. And what we got stuck with at least once, I've been a part of the beginner event or seen it for a good number of years. There'll be kids that show up for that, for the beginner event that, hey, if they had put together their own plane or whatnot, had the bomb, they could be doing the junior open at the end of the week. But because you've now ended it where you got it, that beginner event starting on a Sunday, and then we're getting around to late in the week on Friday, a lot of them aren't sticking around for that. So I don't know. I don't know how you could juggle that, but you know, again, the most inexperienced folks are at the beginning of the week when we don't have the big crowd there to even support them, you know, and say something about that. So
Yeah,
just something to think about.
we spent a bit of time last night going over just that. And the Nats is you know, it's really the hallmark event at the Nats is, you know, CLPA. And we got that pretty well down. We know what we're doing on that. You know, it's we know every piece of that. We've had a lot of experience. It runs really well. I guess Tuesday through Friday. And what we're looking at is the rest of it. And that was one of the points brought up. You know, when would it be easiest to get the juniors and the seniors there? When could the beginners really get there, get the most out of it? One thing that's bothered me for a long time is when you get even the top five and they're done, the great majority of people who came have left. So you get a top five, you know, and you have 20 people to congratulate them. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that there's a lot of things we can do on the intermediate side, on the unofficial side, to make it better and attract more people. But if you walk around there like I do, you get the people who come over to you. I'm talking about good people saying, Mark, this is crazy. You know, I got a 9-hour drive. I'm paying for hotels. I'm paying for the fees, and I get one 5-minute flight. You know, I really got to question why I'm doing this. So, you know, we're going to keep working on it. Every 3 weeks, we're going to keep working on it, and we'll come up with some good answers. There are a lot of good things going on in Pampa. It isn't just the Nats, but all the supporting stuff that makes us, you know, a great organization. So, any thoughts you have, you know, on if you were at the Nats, it's easier for someone who was there. But there's a lot of good things going on.
Mark, I have a question for you. How's the progress going on the plans and that Pampa has and the distribution of that? You talked about PDFs and things like that. Any movement on that front?
Well, I saw Bob on here. Bob, could you answer that a little bit?
Yeah. The plan is to do value-added benefits for Pampa members. So there's some other reason to be a Pampa member other than the fact that we run the Nationals. So we want to take our fairly rich list of plans, and we want to find a way on the new website that's coming up to give Pampa members, bona fide Pampa members, a code where they can download a file and take it to the local Staples or UPS store, wherever they do get prints made, and have prints made. Just pay for the print there. We're not going to charge them anything. It's a value-added benefit for being a member. Also, we have just been donated by Tom Hampshire over 100 sets of plans that are flat, not even rolled. They're in a cabinet, and he's given us the cabinet and the plans.
Wow.
And we're going to have those digitized. Do you have a capability of doing digitizing plans, John?
No, I don't. I did get a large scale copier, but it didn't work. It was salvaged. So that's what it takes. It takes a large scale copy
Well,
machine.
I'll talk to the people. Our plans are on a server about 5 miles from here, down in Easton, Pennsylvania. We used to have a service where people could order plans. We'd send the order to a place in Easton, and they would run the plans off, package them, ship them, and then send us a bill for the printing and the postage. And we would collect the money from the person who was ordering the plans. And of course, we'd keep the margin. It'd be a little bit more than what the postage and the plan sale would be. And we didn't sell a whole lot of plans over the years. And the guy who was doing those, he folded his company and sold everything to another company in Easton. And that guy's a pretty neat guy. And he's got our stuff still on his server down there. And we're going to have to go down there and ask him to just run all those files off for us and give them to the new webmaster, whoever that may be. I don't know if we discussed that yet or not. And find a way to facilitate this, so that members can go in, download whatever plan they want, and go have a print made.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's really the way the industry seems to be going. Is it's so much easier to send a PDF and take it. It just seems a better way to go. Yes, you kind of lose control of a few things, but we're not in it to really make huge gobs of money. We're in it to see the hobby go. And speaking of keeping the hobby going, Bob,
well, I prefer to call it an art form.
Okay, you being an ex-editor for several good magazines in our culture, the worth of having new models, new things being published. And is there any thinking on Pampa's part about taking and bringing in those of us that are still creating, publishing that way?
Well, interestingly enough, in my computer screen, a guy 2 doors down from me, Denny Adamison, and I had a discussion this morning for about an hour?
About that, yeah.
And
mostly complaining about Mark, right?
Go with this, Mark.
Complaining about Mark.
I don't know what has been said before I got here, and I don't know what Mark wants me to talk about. There's some things that he may not want me to let the cat out of the bag yet. So, Mark, how much leeway do I have here?
Kind of whatever you want to say. I don't want to use any other person's names.
Mhm.
Okay. Sorry, Denny, I used your name.
Okay.
What we want to do is we want to populate the website with benefits for the members. And like you said, John, there are no more construction features being offered, or very few. I think one in the last several years in model aviation. I want to use my talents as an editor, which were 90% under the surface like an iceberg, which is calling up people, threatening them, guilt tripping them, cajoling, whatever it takes to get them to draw plans and write up articles on their airplanes, make new construction features. But unlike a magazine, print magazine, where there is only nominally 2,500 to 3,000 words in the most significant articles, but also only about 7 photos. Here we could have almost an unlimited amount of verbiage and have a person describe not only how the airplane was conceived, how it was designed, how it was built, show how it was built in as many pictures as are required, and how it was trimmed, and then maybe a synopsis at the end of the whole thing, which may run into 8,000 to 10,000 words, maybe 15,000 to 20,000 words, and that's fine. The more the better. More information, the better. So to answer your question, yeah, we are considering new construction features, as well as a whole bunch of other things on the website, other stations on the website.
That's excellent.
Where we could have other types of articles, how-to articles, history articles, personal profile articles, and also one of the most important things is to have a ranked beginner section. We won't call it that. We'll call it, absolute beginner section kind of thing, where we have articles that answer all the questions that beginners would have about how to install a bell crank, how to do the rudimentary things that we all know how to do, but none of that information has been recycled lately. So we need
That's
that.
absolutely fantastic to hear, Bob. It really is. I think that will do more to possibly save our endeavors, save our group, save our interest, our hobby, than about anything else we can do. Pampa is going to be central in this, and I think that kind of thinking. I mean, you got to have new designs, you got to have new thinking, you got to have answers to questions, and it looks like you are addressing that. My hat's off to you guys.
And even the old techniques that we learned when we were beginners, how we did it when we first started, and how it may have been done for many years. Some of that stuff has changed over the years because of new materials, new techniques, new whatever. So some of that stuff can't be recycled exactly the way it used to be. It would have to be updated with new materials, new vendors or whatever to get the stuff. We have to re-edit that stuff and represent it. And that's kind of where my job's going to be.
Excellent.
Bob volunteered and I appointed him a second later to lead this effort. He has the experience, he's got the resume. Maybe most importantly, he's excited about it. And if I think to do a good job in anything, you got to be motivated.
Absolutely.
I learned a long time ago, my job every day is to motivate me, not 20 people that are working for me. If I'm motivated and they can't feel it, that's their problem. If I'm
Yeah.
not motivated, then what kind of a leader am I? And Bob is all over this, and the outcome is I know it's going to be very, very special.
There'll be ups and downs. There'll be things that work and things that don't work. But if you want to guarantee that something's not going to work, don't try anything at all.
Right.
So we got to try some things and see if they work. But it boils down to something even more than that. All of us who are trying to put all this together, that's great. And the people who are going to guilt trip and cajole and threaten to get articles written, I'm sure we'll get some material in. But what this boils down to is what I've always preached: each one teach one. All of us have to find someone who has any interest whatsoever and cultivate that interest and take that person or persons into our shop and teach them every last thing about this hobby, and then charge them in their lifetime to teach one or two more. That's the only way we're going to have any real growth.
Yeah.
It's not big programs or websites or anything else. It's personal contact. And that's how most of us in the old days, because there was so many more modelers, we all kind of got mentored by somebody back then. I know Bill Simons was my major mentor. And I'm sure all of you had mentors, early on. And that's what we need again. We need to have people to take time out of their modeling life to give to others.
You're absolutely right. And I'm pickled to death. I guess I'm going to have to give my $25 off and rejoin Pampa.
Well, I can tell you that Bob is very serious about the guilt tripping part.
I know.
Which is the reason he called me earlier today. All right, that's the primary reason, but
Yeah.
Did a good job, didn't I?
Oh, I bought a new computer. I'm going to get a CAD system and everything. He said I could draw it on paper. And what? You can do that? Oh, but
I do it.
yeah, that's it. Well, I did some for you that way too back in the good old days. But anyhow,
I even got a
yeah.
pencil for you, didn't he?
What's that?
Oh,
A
Got a
pencil.
pencil for you.
All right, terrific. We'll import that from down under, and we'll be all set here. Will that
Yep.
be about $300 shipping on that? So
Yeah, it's worth about 2 cents, but it'll be about 400 US by the time it gets
yeah,
in.
I want to quickly share while I can see his picture of John Skukulak. He was at the Nats with his family, right? With your son and wife?
My grandson and wife.
Grandson, yeah, your grandson and your wife.
Right.
And I made enough comments to his wife that I think they're going to be divorced.
Well,
I didn't mean that, but
Mark, I've started to make a little bit of a comeback. No thanks to you.
Absolutely. But I'll tell you something, those people that say you can't have fun at the Nats, or, if you're not going to compete, you shouldn't go to the Nats, is a bunch of crap. I got to tell you that. And you can find the best flyers in the world, and there are a group of 4 over here, 5 over here. There's 7 over here that know they probably won't even make the top 20, but they're looking at each other's equipment, they're answering questions. It's a great camaraderie. I mean, the other contests have great, get-togethers, but I'll tell you,
That's Mark. That's where I'm at. I'm glad you mentioned that. And this is not significant in the overall scheme of things. But one of the things that strikes me is, for a beginner, someone that's new and excited and wants to compete in beginner and then intermediate. And they'd also love to be around for the top 20 and the final 5.
Yep.
It's almost impossible because you have to be there so long.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. The schedule is, we're really going to take a hard look at the schedule. Okay. I mean, there were ideas even, one that's always bugged me is when you have that quality of people assembled together, how can you not have the public there? How can you go down 5 streets to a diner? They don't even know what's going on. And I don't think that's my responsibility or that of Pampa. I really believe that's an AMA responsibility. But yeah, it was great to see you. And you know me, I can be pretty goofy. And I need that.
Pretty
myself.
goofy.
It's a lot of fun, Mark.
It's I accept that. I accept that.
It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Me too.
Don't ever let that man stay at your house. He steals towels.
That's not necessarily true. I do magic. So anyway, and again, just as important as this is, and I'm glad Jim Hoffman said he would help. I'm guessing here with 284 Pampa members, or 100 at the Nats. I don't know. That might be a high number. So 2/3 of your membership doesn't come to the Nats. So you have to answer the question of, what's in it for me? And that's why I think we really have to feed a lot of this stuff down to local, to regional. Should we be paying for their awards? What's,
Yeah.
We're not in the golden age of aviation. Maybe in 1973, aviation was a bigger thing on people's minds. I'm sure it was. So how do we combat that? How do we give people reasons to do it? And Bob always says, and he's right, if you want to have a shot at getting someone, give them a handle. Let them see someone who knows how to fly. It happens at Triple Tree all the time. We'll get people to come down, and they're watching people on ring rats. And, the comment comes out, yeah, I'd like to do that, but they just go around in a circle. And when Will and I hear that, we ask someone to put their airplane up. And all of a sudden, people are starting to get the feel, I can go from this to that. Okay.
Mark, I found that one of the things that helped out at Joan Hall, but also other places I go, when you get some spectators, kids and everything, who have shown some interest, you take 4 or 5 of them, set them down in the circle so they can see what it looks like from inside the circle, which is a whole different world.
Yeah.
And they get a little bit better perspective of what it's about.
Yeah.
I've said this before in previous iterations here on the Stunt Hangar, and I'll be a little more specific. At Whittier Narrows one year, I always carried those little trifolds. We've talked about this before.
Yep.
The little trifolds that at least illustrated the pattern, said a little bit about it. I carried a handful. Somebody suggested that I carried a handful in my flight box. And there were groups of people standing around, and they'd come to see it. They'd heard the sound, but they didn't know. Stunt, if you don't know what's going on, could be like watching paint dry. You don't know what's happening. And so you don't see any value in it. To me, it's like watching somebody play golf. A good golfer knows what he's looking at, what's happening. Me, I'm not a good golfer, so I look at it, it's like watching paint dry. Well, I got hold of one of these groups, I passed these things out and took the time to sit and talk with them about it. And when flight was up, I showed them, explained what was happening. And they stayed there all day long. And at the end of the day, these people were using those flyers, and they were talking to their friends who'd come down and teaching them what was going on. Now, that is I think the only way we're going to, or the best way, or the easiest way, I guess maybe that's it. The easiest, best way that we can teach the people that are there what they're looking at.
I'd like to take that one step further, John.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I've said this many times on here before, so it's not new information. My belief is we shouldn't have just a trifold, which should be an actual booklet that has several chapters in it. So if it has the basic rudiments at the beginning and, tell them what it's basically about. And if they have an interest, they can go further in the book and get instant information about how far they can go. But moreover, we should have that PDF on the website so people modelers can download it and keep several of them with them in their car or their flight box. And anytime they see someone with an interest at all, you hand them one, but on there you have your phone number, your name, and your email address, and you tell them, especially if it's a kid, you can't take a kid out and teach them to fly, because nowadays you do that, you get arrested.
Yeah.
But someone of age, you should have an airplane in the car ready to fly and give them an instant visceral experience. Get their hand into the handle. That's the only way you get the hook in. And if anybody has an interest, you hand them this pamphlet and say, give me a call and I'll work with you. I'll help you build an airplane. I'll teach you to fly. I'll do whatever is necessary.
Excellent. Excellent follow-up. That's your follow-up. That's great, because we remember back when we were kids, you'd hear the model airplane engine start up. You got on your bike and you went to go see it. I can't tell you how many kids come up and talk to us when we're flying out in the field. And a percentage of them showed up, and stayed around, and pretty soon they had their own model and they were out there and we were teaching them how to fly. We don't have that kind of a presence in our communities anymore. We fly way outside of town where the noise doesn't bother anybody, or we fly electric where you can't hear them. It's just, so, but anyway, these are all good ideas. I think you push it on in the right direction.
Yeah.
To expand on what John was saying earlier, in the old days, if a person would see me, see my airplane at a combat contest, he would be watching paint dry.
Literal. Yes.
No, he'd be watching the clown.
No,
that was good, Howard. They get 2 for that.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good one. Yeah.
That's funny.
Anyhow.
Today's kids are different. When we were brought up, most of us were older guys, and it was right after World War II. Our heroes were fighter pilots.
Right.
Aviation was in our face 24/7. I mean, I remember we lived just outside of Newark, New Jersey, and those big recips of DC-6s and 7s and Connies would come climbing out right over our house. And I remember as far back as being in the crib in my sister's room. I was 18 at the time. And hearing these airplanes come from Newark and pass overhead and then go off in the distance. Aviation was in our face, and we were interested in it. Today's kids, to them, aviation is a speck in the sky, 40,000 feet in the air.
It's like watching a taxi go by.
It's very possible for a kid to go on a trip from New York to California and never actually see from the outside the airplane he's flying on. He's inside a tube. And they have no connection to aviation. And that's what's missing.
I once confronted in the Boeing cafeteria the guy who was the head of what was it, environmental stuff for Boeing. And I said, look, airplanes now are not loud and smoky. When they were loud and smoky, people had respect for them. And you have made them not loud and smoky.
Yeah.
That's a true story.
Yeah, you're right.
So we can't count it. And kids today have their own reality. We had our reality. They have theirs. They're in cyberspace and all this stuff. And they're entitled to the reality, So we have to find a way, not just to get kids, but I think grandparents are the best way, who used to fly, get their grandkids out and teach them to fly. That's one avenue to get kids involved. The kids today are not analog thinking. They're thinking digitally. And I think the pendulum only swings so far in one direction. They're going to get bored, and they're going to want to do something in the real world like we did. And eventually it'll come back to doing things analog hobbies, or analog activities.
Well, I just thought of an idea. I think Howard would like this. I would give people a credit on their annual dues to Pampa if they would adopt a 10 or 11-year-old male or female and teach them how to fly. I think that I would give them $20 a year for that. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I was wondering where you were going with that there for a minute.
No, it's just, I wish I could do that.
So,
Jim?
could I expand on what I heard said? I sense the group wants to improve our visibility and get more control liners out there. So I guess to accomplish that, if I could, I would have our website do two things. One, a current list of flying sites where someone could go on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
People fly. I would do that. And the other thing I would do is have an up-to-date contest calendar, all online. We talk about a lot of these nice things, and they're all nice, they're all good. But unless you can do something is that basic, you're going to have a lot of trouble. And we do. We're living it.
And add to that a roster that anyone coming into that's really not something that's just for membership viewing, but for anybody viewing, they can look down the roster, find somebody who lives near them, and call them.
Yep.
Here. Good.
Yep.
So
that's good stuff, Jim.
Encourage them to call them.
Those are the base of the pyramid. The root, you've got to have that. If you don't have that, it's just conversation.
Right.
And I've gone to the websites of there's at least 15 other SIGs in the AMA. And I've gone to all of their websites at one time or another just to lurk around and see what their websites look like. Their websites are spectacular. Most of them. So that's a little editorial.
Ours soon will be as well.
That's great.
As
Well,
Mark
it's
is
exciting.
Mark is there is praying, please, Bob, don't say any more.
Exciting to be in these times.
Bob and friends are absolutely going to produce the kind of website that we need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I started to say it's exciting to be in these times. From years, I won't call it stagnation, but it was close to it. Now we're seeing things move.
Well, we're a buggy whip. I mean,
Yeah.
we're a buggy whip. They're not making them anymore, and we have to find a way to make buggy whips exciting again.
Talk about the contest calendar. We can do that offline.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob, I wish you would have used a different analogy, but yeah.
And I still make drawings.
Yeah, your point is taken. Your point's well taken.
I still wonder.
I think what Hoff said here about having a really killer website, I think that really matters. And I don't know, Sparky, do you have a way of tracking this? Do you have any idea how many non-modelers attend, watch your post or anything like that? Do you have any sense that there's any non-modelers? It's just woodworkers or something like that. Watch what you're doing.
Well, there's 3,900 members watching Stunt Hangar right now that are not logged in, that are guests. 3,900.
Okay.
Well, that answers that question.
And that's non-Stunt Hangar members who are watching. Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. The exact number is 3,946, and there's been 320 logged in today of my normal guys.
So basically 10 times is watching it. You got 10 times. How in the world do we get them in the little, bring all of the, there's something out there. We got something, and
And if you look at,
Will Huben has sold, I forget the numbers now, but it was on the order of 4,000 electric timers sold through Brodak. He's made that many for Brodak.
Wow.
I haven't seen 4,000 electric airplanes on the field. All right. And somebody's buying that stuff. So.
Hey, Denny.
Yeah.
You're raising a really interesting point with Sparky. And, Will and I are good friends. We talk a lot and work together a lot. And he's been doing some great simple videos
Mm-hmm.
These short videos on, I guess they're on YouTube or maybe Facebook, I forget. But anyway, he has one of Wesley and Connor, his two grandsons, in his backyard, just flying an electric plane. I'm sure Will is there, but he was also doing the camera work, okay? Doesn't say anything about an organization. It's just two kids having fun.
Mm-hmm.
How many hits do you think he's gotten on that video? I'm going to be real close with the answer.
I'm sure it's like it's like probably six figures anyway, 5 or 6 figures anyway.
It's close to 4 million.
Geez.
Holy smokes.
So, but he can do an instructional piece and get 300, 400.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So how do you, and he's been working on this, how do you leverage, all that? And who are those 4 million?
Wow.
So
Robot.
You got to be careful with that because the metrics on YouTube does not read single view. I mean, it's not 4 million kids. I'm looking at something now. Let's see. That was a video, and I just put this up. It's got 1,715 views, and of those, let's see. We want to go to audience. I could tell you my audience is. Let's see. We want to do demographics on audience. The geographies of the United States, 53%. Brazil is 5%. Japan is 3%. Italy's 1.6%. Germany's 1%. And then let's look at the ages of people. 3 to 17, 0. 18 to 24, 0. 25 to 34, 0. 35 to 44, 0. 45 to 54, 0. 54, let's see, wait a minute. Yeah, 55 to 64 is 26%, and 65 plus is 73%.
There you go.
Yeah, but we're Sparky, you and I are talking about two completely different things.
Okay.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that yours is specific to control line flying. All he did was take a video of two kids for 45 or 60 seconds, just having fun with an airplane.
Okay, I got a perfect example for that exact scenario. It's called, see, that was a short. Well, let's look at a short because it's got the gazillion views on it. It's Joe and his Venus. You're here now. And we'll give you the demographics on that because that was a popular short. Let's see, almost ready. Oh, shit, it's on the next page over. But yeah, you can definitely track this stuff.
Well, it's hopeful though, because when the kids get to be 70, they're going to be into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gives us all these years.
We'll have to wait to 70 years.
Will, the bear, NOS.
Maybe I'm reading that wrong. I'm not sure.
Well, I think everyone would agree that if you have to incorporate social media, you have to incorporate the internet. People don't buy the way they used to. They don't think the way they used to. And we just have to have that presence, as Jim said, like some of the other SIGs do. It can't hurt you.
No, 100%.
Okay, here's an open video that went out to everybody that everybody saw, and we got 13 to 17, 0.3%, 18 to 24, 2.2%,
Hey.
5 to 34, 12%, 35 to 44, 16%, and then we're starting to grow the numbers again, 45 to 54, 16%, and then up to 78, it's 29 and 23% above 55 and up. Nobody's interested in this except us guys in that age group.
Look, I don't disagree with you, but I would say that younger group has no idea that we exist. None.
Don't know what they're missing.
The 4 million that looked at Will's of them, there wasn't no 7-year-olds looking at that. Those were adults looking at that too.
They're probably parents and grandparents.
Yeah, exactly.
Could be pedophiles.
Be nice.
Anyway,
I think what Jim said's a good idea. I know the boys at our club, some of those came from RC to the control line, and the RC club has put in a circle that can fly control line and RC. And on Tuesday nights, the Blue Dauber RC club invites people out for training, just off the wall. I don't know how it's advertised, but they get a few. So some of our guys are going out on Tuesday nights with control line airplanes to try to spur that on a little. And I think that's a brilliant idea, I think.
Club
And
does exactly the same thing on the same night.
Both of them on the same night, and they can go do both if they want. I think it's a brilliant idea. I applaud them for it. I haven't been out yet, but you need to. But it's a good thing. And the people come out and how the Blue Daubers are advertising that's a training night, but they are somehow. But I don't think we need 7-year-olds. We need 40-year-olds that's got money and can afford to go do things and play and buy airplanes.
Got grandkids.
I'll share something with you that still is, it just amazes me that Tom Smeltzer and I, Bruce, used to belong to the club. Craig Gunder belongs to the club. It's an RC club in Maryland. But some of the people in the club, some of the workers in the club, flew and still fly control line. But here's the amazing thing about it. They were approached long before they cut a circle for us. They were approached by people who do the rock crawlers, the RC rock crawlers. And they want to know if they could build a little piece of property and dress it accordingly with boulders and bridges and all kinds of neat things. And the club was smart enough to say, absolutely. And I'm telling you, that number might be 50 members, which is gravy to that club, absolute gravy. And you never know, someone with a rock crawl may just turn around one day and say, I'd kind of like to try that. So, one of the things I said to Chad Boudreau, and he was executive director, I said to him in a meeting, I said, Chad, I wish every RC club would change their sign for the public, and it would say Model Aviation Field. Why does it have to say RC Club? If it said something that was more broad, maybe people with control line and other things just might show up. Maybe crawlers would show up. I don't know. But these people that open their minds, they're coming up with some really good stuff. So, we just got to look that way.
Well, guys, I've got to hit the road.
All right. Good night, Jonathan.
Good night, John.
Good night, John.
Fascinating listening to all that stuff. We've got the same problems down here. And I think back to my childhood when the neighborhood used to be seething with kids, and there'd be these marauding gangs of kids flowing backwards and forwards like kelp ebbing in the tide. And they didn't have internets and things to bury their nose in. The only thing they had down here was rugby or a bit of TV or a bit of soccer or whatever. And you'd hear a kid round the corner flying an airplane. You'd hear a kid round the other park flying an airplane. So it was always there, and there were always plenty of kids moving around, watching it out and about and doing stuff. I think part of the problem now is our kids are inactive, basically sitting on their ass on a screen.
As the kids said, I went outside once, but the graphics weren't that good.
Okay, catch you later.
Take care, Joe.
Cheers.
Where's Winship tonight? We're missing him.
He's sleeping.
He's sleeping. He did a good job on that reel or whatever you want to call it on Facebook.
Sure did.
Man, that was awesome.
He's home working on articles because he was one of the guys I guilt tripped today.
He did a great job at the Nats, I think. I was very impressed. There's a lot of good press on that, on the stuff.
Yeah.
I was scrolling through it, and just me flying that B-29 was on the internet, and I can't find it anymore. I don't know where it went, but it's on there. Somebody filmed it.
You're flying the Connie.
The Connie, yeah. It's on a reel somewhere. I said, holy crap.
I saw it.
Cool. That's cool. I don't know how it got there, but I'm glad it is. That's fun.
How
You
many
did a good
people here
job.
have ever been on an actual real Connie?
Nope.
Always wanted to.
I flew one.
Chris McMillan's dad flew them for a living.
Wow.
There's one in at JFK Airport in New York. They recreated the TWA terminal from 1962. It looks exactly like the real thing, and there's a
Wow.
Connie out on the tarmac.
Cool.
Have TSA at the gate?
Nope. It was really cool. It was like stepping back into 1962.
You also don't have any departures, so there you go. You know.
There's a Connie or two flying, I think, isn't there? At least there's one for sure. Maybe two.
There's about 3 or 4 of them still flying.
Is there that many flying still? I know there's
One was just finished restoring just recently. It's on YouTube, the whole thing, you know,
Uh-huh.
doing it.
Hey, Ed Waskey, how you doing?
Howdy. Ed's doing.
How's Aviation Expo shaping up? Some of these guys may not know about it.
Yeah. Oh man, we're under 30 days and getting a lot of inquiries. Got more people coming, control line wise, a few more coming in. One guy from Maryland, additionally, with a possible another one. So it's looking pretty good. The dinner's getting set pretty good with Victoria Yeager and that. And TV5 had me on about a week and a half ago, and supposed to be on TV the day before the event, which is what I pressed for. Don't show something after the event or that night. Let's get on the day before.
Yeah, brilliant.
And stuff. So
looking forward to it.
Yeah, crossing my fingers. Just real quickly, I want to show something for John there. So.
Oh, look at that.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's all Monaco, right?
Hold on a second.
Wow.
Well,
that's
looks
over the
nice.
silk span.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks very nice.
Once you get with it, it's real easy to do, isn't it?
Yeah, even when I thought I was having some disasters, what a heat gun will do is amazing.
Is that supposed to be one of Cook Cleland's racers?
There you go. Yep. I modified the Brodak kit to look like that.
That's got the big engine in it.
Yep. Well, it had the long nose, so
4360.
why not make it that?
Tall rudder too.
Yeah. I modified that.
Well done.
Here's the sub rudder that they had to add for takeoff.
That's right. That moved independently.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically the vertical fin from here on up is standard. They just added the lower portion and the sub rudder.
I'll be darned. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. And Cali Graphics should have stuff to me, well, probably within another week or two.
Well, now you're becoming the master of this particular technique, you know.
I don't know about that. But I left the vertical fin off because it's a lot easier flipping it over back and forth.
Yeah.
And that. But I kind of like it, but although I probably in the future I would go back to silk and dope or tissue paper and dope and that. But then put a just a easy finish on with the watercolored paints, so I don't have to worry about field proofing.
Wait till you get down the road, 10 years or 15 years, and you haven't had to retighten the monocoat.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I also wanted to mention back at the expo, right now, my buddy's trying to make sure his F-18 simulator is working. And it's first person view. So you put a set of goggles on and fly an F-18. So if all goes well, that's going to be there.
Can I get it right on that?
Well, you can sit and put the goggles on.
Cool.
And that. Will and I talked about doing a little bit of ring rat combat. I've got 3 ring rats ready to go. Yeah, just looking forward to it. And it certainly seems a pretty good interest. And I've got people from the Board of Education coming in. So like I said, I'm trying to push something in middle school. So we'll see what kind of progress I can make, if any, talking with them.
What kind of things, I mean, besides airplanes to fly demos with, is there something you want for static display or something to talk about or some materials or?
Well, what we do is the one ball field that we use, the warm-up area, we'll line airplanes up against the fence so everybody can look at them and see, and then ask questions.
Okay.
And that. So we do that.
To bring as many airplanes as possible.
Well, yeah. We could use a couple of warm-up areas and stuff. We were only using one so far, and that. So yep. But like I said, the whole idea is try to get them talking about it and asking the right questions. And I'm trying to work on trying to get some more younger members to help out and to talk and that. So we'll see. But getting good support and getting one heck of a lineup set as far as people coming in. Pretty impressive. And that, so, and anybody, I appreciate anybody out there that can make it. And we're trying to educate parents and show kids how a model can turn into a career. But why not start young and be ahead of everybody? So
How it used to work years ago.
Yeah. Yep. And we're pretty lucky. We got two high schools that are actually starting airframe and power plant mechanics out, where you can do part of your school over at the school, education over at the school there to get ahead of everybody. But then on the other side of the coin, I interviewed one guy that had his license say, "Oh yeah, over at the school is where I learned how to use wrenches." It's like, yeah, okay. You come back in about 5 years, buddy. I can't take a chance with working on $1 million airplanes. But great careers out there, and I also when I talk to people and the colleges and the high schools, doesn't matter what your degree is. We've got 3 Fortune 500 companies on the field, and they need CPAs, they need lawyers, they need cybersecurity, you name it, they need it. So it's a great place to get a job, and the state actually recognizes it pretty well. So we're starting to get some pretty good support from the state.
Excellent.
Yeah, 1.2 billion this airport that I'm at puts into the state economy.
Somebody reach over and wake up Keith.
He's awake.
He's awake.
Hi, Keith.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm going to close out the YouTube. We can go into the after party. Let me close that out, and I'm going to turn it over to Dennis because he knows how to close it out. We're going to have to tell him when he comes back. You guys watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and share this broadcast. We do it every Monday and Friday, and we'll see you next Monday. Fair winds, tight lines. Let's see here. We got to close this bad boy out. Shoot. Crap.
So, can this group stand any good news?
Sure.
So, I don't know if many people know this, but about 2 weeks ago, the circles in Tucson were completely repaved.
Yeah, we saw that.
They are spectacular. The good circle, which was a donut, is simply still a donut. The north circle, which was a donut but sort of too small, is now not a donut. It's just completely paved.
Oh, wow. Well done.
Also, the pits are repaved as well.
Outstanding.
Wow.
So we were the beneficiaries of some good luck, actually. The city is spending big bucks renovating other parts of that